Fancy managers, hello and welcome to Game Week 37, the FPL Addicts podcast preview show, sponsored by Bonus Bank and powered by Esports Live. We are coming to you on a Sunday, very irregular for us. We are usually midweek, but it is a late transfer deadline for you today. We've got two hours to go until deadline. So we've made an appearance on this fine Sunday afternoon in Melbourne, Australia. Myself and Matty. The Guru Day. A big thanks to our sponsor, Bonus Bank, for supporting us and our community this season. Make sure you check out the details in the caption below on how to take advantage of the bookies promotions. This is Australia's and New Zealand's fastest growing side hustle. So make sure you check it out. It is free to play, and you can also receive 25% off your first premium month with our discount code, which is FPL Addicts. Check that out in the caption details below, wherever you're watching. And if you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us some love with a like, a rating, or a review. And hit that subscribe button now for you to so you don't never miss an upload. Matty, Game Week 37, how are we?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Obviously, not long to go now. We're coming into the final couple of weeks. But yeah, looking forward to this one. We know we've got some good early kickoffs. We've got a lot of games all being played at once, which is is how we like it. We can watch all of our players sort of play at the same time. So yeah, can't wait for it. And obviously, we just had a massive game week just before, which we can discuss as well. So yeah, looking forward to these games and another double game week.
Yeah, lots to get into, and I know you're a happy man because we obviously what we're going to get into today. We're going to discuss a bit of Tottenham, and they're looking good. All of a sudden, it's been so up and down, full of emotion this season, and that's what we love about the Premier League and also fantasy football. But it is, like I said, lots to get into. What a crazy game week that was. I've just got the scores up on the screen now. Lots of games. I think there was it eight doublers last week, game week teams. Crazy week, loads of games, loads of goals. Where do you want to start, mate?
There's just so many big results and obviously so many goals. I think, we should start with maybe one of the first games. I think. I think that Chelsea Wolves game threw a bit of a spanner in the works. 2-2. Chelsea went 2 goals up. They were doubling this game week, and not many people expected, Lukaku to, come out and be, as big an asset as he was, and he got 2 goals in this game. The Chelsea clean sheets looked like they were banked. Rudiger was on a couple of bonus points, and then 2 late goals from Wolves, and this one turned into a 2-2. So I thought this was a very good game. And then obviously just above that, we've got the Burnley Villa game as well. Villa were on a double game week. They were flying. Watkins, Buendia had a really big week. Ings and Digne was on for a massive score, and then the clean sheet got wiped out right at the end. But those 2 games were pretty good in the sort of the earlier kickoffs for that day. Lots of goals, and that was a good start for the double game week for a lot of people that own some of those Villa players.
Yeah, bit of left field kind of choices. If you're picking the likes of Ings or a lot of fantasy managers do have Watkins in there. He's kind of been that solid pick for them this season, I guess, out of this the short amount of strikers we've had. So yeah, he looked good in there. He obviously did get that yellow card to knock him down the points, but even Buendia getting amongst it. He's been quiet this season. We expect some big things from him. Not a great season for him. Obviously, they had the change of manager as well, but he got amongst it with the 3 bonus points as well.
He was brilliant, Buendia. And I remember him at the start, and we were all sort of thinking, he's going to be huge for FPL. Yeah. Big signing from Norwich, and big stats in the Championship, and he hasn't quite done it. But I think he did pick a bit of a knock in this double game week, but he has been past fit, I believe. So. We might see him in a few more free hit teams for this week. But yeah, he surprised us all because Coutinho did get dropped, maybe just rested. for that first game, which I don't think anyone expected. So yeah, he stepped up.
Yeah, and there was a lot of that obviously during this game week with a couple of random players maybe getting dropped we didn't expect, but a player who was pretty quiet in this initial one, Mo Salah, Liverpool versus your Spurs, 1-1. Obviously, Son, who's on absolute fire, got amongst the goals. Setting Spurs up, looking maybe for the win at one point. You thought, but Liverpool leveling things. A lot of captain owners with Salah, me amongst it. Nothing really, not a great result for owners. But how did you watch much of this game? Well, I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I watched this one, and obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the way Conte set up and the way Spurs played, but I thought it was very good defending on. Defended well. Lloris wasn't really troubled too much. You can see there, and he had a couple of saves to make. We went 1-0 up. Son with the goal was a great piece of play from Kane as well, with the sort of the third assist, and then Sessegnon, who had a really, really good game week. I think he's one to sort of keep an eye on at 4.3 million. Gets the assist, and Son, just keeps punishing owners. Those that don't own Son, they've got to have him in for these last couple of games now. It's just, he's relentless. Obviously Liverpool did come back in the game though. Diaz, scored. He was knocking on the door throughout that game, and he did score, did deflect, but he played well and probably deserved that goal. And I thought a draw was probably the fair result in the end. And a solid performance from Spurs. Obviously, Salah didn't quite, live up to the expectations that we kind of thought for this one. But tight game. And again, that was the first of a double game week for both those sides. And obviously we'll get into the other games shortly. But there was some big points from those two teams in this game week.
Yeah, that's spot on. And obviously Spurs stopped Liverpool winning the title. Could well be the result that stopped them. Possibly.
We've definitely played our part in this title race with the the wins against City. We've had a couple of draws against Liverpool. It's just amazing to think we've had those results. But then at the same time, we've lost to the likes of Burnley and Southampton at home. So very very crazy stuff from Spurs this year.
Yeah, and I'll just quickly mention this one. Not that I want to talk about it, but obviously United got an absolute smashing from Brighton. Gave us a big second half scene too. But I'll give a shout out to Ozpak. He is on the coach to Leeds right now. Obviously, our the Brighton supporter, goes through every single game going. He's had a great season. He's been checking in with us, letting us know where he's up to and how he's doing. Brighton on some good form, but he's got his Cucurella wig on, which I'd love to see. I'd love to get a picture of that. Hopefully, you can post on Twitter later on. So he's on his way there, and he'll be happy because Cucurella got his first goal as well, and it was against United, unfortunately. But a shocker, and as PSB says there, an embarrassment for us United fans. Yeah. Absolutely correct, mate. And just skip over this United.
Trossard in that one. Just a point on Brighton. Trossard got a goal and 2 assists, and I did see a few teams on Twitter where they did actually have Trossard. Yeah, took him out on a free hit, and you cannot predict that stuff. That's the sort of stuff in FPL. You've made the right call because Man United haven't been great, but you probably wouldn't back Trossard over a double game week player, really.
No, not at all. Yeah, and that's where some people got to find them picks, haven't they? And he's, I think he's. I'm just looking at stats in front of me now. He's the third most informed kind of player, I guess, after the game week.
Phenomenal.
And he's been a good asset. I think we mentioned him on the podcast a while back because he's in good form. He has been scoring, got the 2 assists as well. But over a double game week, a lot of people just didn't go near him, did they?
And I think, Cucurella as well. He's been a brilliant FPL asset, and he's been a great signing for Brighton. So, big points in that one. And I think, those that have kept their Brighton assets in this sort of last month have done very well because they've obviously picked up some big wins.
Yeah, and over to the kind of other double game week teams that we looked at. Leicester had 2 good home fixtures, only came out with 3 points in the end, done by Everton away from home. They've really turned this corner and they got a 2-1 win. I think the Mikalenko, was this the goal when he scored this unbelievable goal? Is
Yeah,
that
it was
goal?
the volley.
The
It was
the volley. Oh my god,
unreal.
the technique! But yeah, technique.
Unreal.
I've got my eye on him for this game week now. After that one, obviously me and you are both lefties, so it's nice to see beautiful technique and what a finish. But Leicester letting everyone down there in terms of that result, but they did make up for it against Norwich. Vardy coming back into a bit of form with 2 goals. Maddison in there as well, and with Barnes with the assist. So kind of 3 strong assets there that I'm sure everyone's got eyes on as well for this week.
Yeah, Leicester. I think the first game, with them having that Europa Conference game just before, I think we kind of expected that one to be a bit flat, and it was all about the Norwich game. And Vardy's back, just in time for this double game week. I think we did mention Vardy as one of our differentials as well last week, which obviously it worked out for those that bring him in. Yeah. And Maddison got the goal as well, because he's probably not quite rewarded owners for the last sort of month, Maddison. He's finally come out with that goal. Barnes as well. A lot of people have been waiting on him to get them points. So Leicester paid their dues in the end and ended up with pretty good outcome over the 2 games.
Yeah, spot on. Speaking of players who got rested, like Chelsea, Mount got rested in that first game, and then he came back in that second one, and he got the goal and the assist as well. So Chelsea getting that 3-0 result. Is Lukaku? What do you think? Next 2 games, he's got 3 in the last 2 now. Is this the Lukaku we needed to see and what we were expecting?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Look, with Watford on the last day of the season, you just never know. You get those crazy games on the last day of the season, and he could be someone where you just put him in and put the captain's armband on him, because he's got a bit of a knack of scoring on the last day of the season. I remember that time when he was at West Brom, and I think it was Ferguson's last game, and it was a 5-5 draw.
Yeah,
and he grabbed a couple of goals.
Yeah,
and he's sort of just found his feet a little bit at the end of the season. So he actually could be a good shout for sort of that game week 38. I probably wouldn't look at him for this game week. There's a lot of better options with the doubles, but he had an unreal game week in the end. He got 3 goals over the 2 games.
That's it. Yeah.
It's unbelievable stuff. So hats off to those managers that took the gamble on him, because I think there wasn't many, but there was a few. So well done.
Yeah, nice work. And over to the league leaders, Manchester City knocking in 10 goals over 2 games. Newcastle away from home got the 5-0 drumming, and then Wolves got the treatment at home in front at the Molineux, losing 5-1. But starting on the first one, Sterling with a double. Obviously, the goals spreading amongst in this first game. We know the second game was a little bit different, but likes of Foden, Laporte, and Sterling got on the score sheet. Jack Grealish with the assist, De Bruyne on the assist. Everything's just spread. The depth is unbelievable. The quality is unbelievable, and this is exactly what we expect from a team of the ilk of City.
Yeah, unbelievable. And Sterling, I think, to come out and he got a huge score in that game, and a lot of people, it was all, Foden. Obviously, we know a lot of people are on De Bruyne as well, but I think not too many people thought about Sterling, because he's still had a good season, but they've got so many options, and I think a few managers were sort of fed up with some of his previous game weeks where they put him in, he hasn't started, or he's come off the bench, and then this one he comes in, 2 goals, and phenomenal game, and he obviously takes up the 3 bonus. And at this point, it's obviously half time in the double game week for City, and De Bruyne, who we'll talk about in a minute, he's on a yellow, but he still gets a bonus and just 1 assist out of 5 goals. And you're probably thinking at this point, has the right captain been picked? Because you've seen Sterling there, doing the business. But we'll get on to the next City result, and as we'll see, De Bruyne was just unbelievable in this next game.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. I was just going to mention with Sterling, any owners that picked him, that they were his first goals since game week 25 against Norwich when he bagged a hat-trick. He hasn't scored in the Premier League since then, so no wonder no one was really picking him or looking at him. But as you said, on to Manchester City's second game, this 5-1 drumming of Wolves. Kevin De Bruyne, 4 goals. Come on, tell everyone about your captain pick on here as well with him.
Yeah, look, I couldn't believe what I was watching when I saw this. Like I picked, obviously De Bruyne was my captain. I picked him, I think, earlier on in the season when it was a blank game week for most teams, and Man City played Newcastle away, and Cancelo come out and got, I think, 36 or 38 points that week, and De Bruyne only got think 6 points in what was like a 4-0 drubbing that week.
Yeah.
But this one, I sort of looked at it and thought, I still want to do him. I know he's let me down in the past, but I still want to put him down as captain. And he was pretty much the whole reason I free hit my team, was because I wanted to fit De Bruyne in and Man City players. And after the first game, only getting that assist, a bit of me was thinking, I'll take a goal against Wolves, but 4 goals, wow, unbelievable. And he was only a yellow. If he didn't get the yellow card in that game, against the first game and also in this game, he would have got a record FPL score, I think. I think he was 1 point off the record, which I think I saw might have been Wayne Rooney in 2009, possibly over a double game week. And then Harry Kane's up there, and I think De Bruyne, he would have won it if he didn't get these yellows. And he was phenomenal, and I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And Reedy, I remember I woke up and Reedy had messaged me going, De Bruyne has scored 4 goals. But he'd message each goal and he says, this has to stop. This has to stop.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable stuff. And then again, Sterling in this one gets a goal, gets an assist, gets 2 bonus. It was relentless. It was relentless. And dreamland for, all of us De Bruyne captainers. It's just, it's a captain that will go down in history of FPL, and just one that you just remember now for years to come. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, well, he's certainly written himself into history there and leading the team to extend at the top of the table as well by that 3 points. But if we finish on your Spurs, the North London derby, Spurs versus Arsenal, we know these results are, is a big result. We know what Kane's record against Arsenal was. We mentioned it obviously last week, and he's come out of this one 2 goals, Son amongst the assists and goals as well. Talk to us about this. Like, you must have been absolutely over the moon.
It was to get the win in this game is always good. And I think we said it last week. It was, we did the prediction on how many goals we thought Kane was going to score. And we did call it on 2 goals for Kane, and it was purely because of this fixture, because of his record in this game. And he's come out and got 2. Son as well just doesn't stop delivering at the moment. Goal and an assist. He was taken off for 20 minutes to go, and I think if that didn't happen, there could have been another one. And those 2 at the moment, especially Son, it's just phenomenal. And it was a good performance from Spurs. There was a bit of help with the refereeing, with the pen. There was a red card, but even before that, I thought Spurs looked, pretty comfortable. It was a solid win, and some really good FPL points in this one. Just really happy with the result. And obviously as a Son owner, he's come out and got another really good, I think it was 18 points for this game week. So he's come out with another massive score. And I think, for those that don't own him, you've just got to get him in for these last 2 games. You've got to own him. He's too good right now, and he's obviously fighting for that golden boot.
Yeah, no, spot on. And 20 points in the last 2 games, 4 goals in his last 3 games, 2 assists. Yeah, man on fire, and a player we rate very highly in FPL, but also as a pleasure to watch, because he is unbelievable. And I'm sure he was fuming to get off to be taken off, because he was just running riot, wasn't he? That concludes what a crazy game week. So many goals. I'm just going to look on the kings of the game week as well, as voted by FPL. Ben Foster, the cycling GK, 14 points in goal there. He's obviously done well, and great for bench boosters as well, because he's sitting a lot of them benches.
Got Michael Keane.
Michael Keane getting on amongst it as well. He couldn't get on the pitch a couple of weeks ago, getting dropped by Lampard. So he's just come out of nowhere and had a game of his life in that one. 15. What does he get on there? 8 and 7, so 15 combined.
Wow.
So not bad. And Everton, like I said, have turned a corner, and they're going into this double game week in good position.
Son got 20 points as well. Sorry, I thought it was 18, but they've obviously added the 2 bonus. But God, even Sterling, 28 points. That's just, some of these scores are incredible, aren't they? Look at that.
Yeah, incredible. I will mention, Nketiah as well with a double.
Yeah, very good.
He was on my bench as well for my team, Leeds. He did deliver. There was a lot of hype on Twitter as well about him, but he did deliver. Generally, it's always a big downfall. He's overhyped and fraud, but he did get that double. So happy days to see that. But he didn't do much against your Spurs. But we'll go on to obviously review where we're at in terms of the mini leagues. I will just bring up my second screen here, which I've just lost. So we're going to go have a look at the free mini, the paid mini, the women's mini, all the ones that we manage over here, as well as the bonus bank head-to-head league. So let's just have a look at what I've got here. I know, I'll share this one instead. My apologies. I'm a bit of a meltdown here. Here we go. Okay, so the free mini. Here we go. There's going to be some massive scores in here. But in first place, Roos Krispies, Kyle Brook, 142 points. Great team name. 142 on there. He's climbed above Billy Brannigan. Billy in second place, Netflix and Chilwell, 102 points. Good score from him, but not enough to keep him in that first position. So first place in our free mini, 2,576 points. Unreal score. Wow. And in third place, making up that top three, we've got Chama from the Code2 Classic. Obviously, he's been a guest on with us this year. 88 points. I don't think he had any chips. Oh, no, he did play his triple captain.
Oh, he did he?
He went on Mo Salah for his triple captain, so didn't really work out for him there. Only coming out with 9 points. Really disappointing for him, I'm sure, because if he'd nailed that one, even if he put it on Son, that could have obviously propelled him a lot higher. But he is sitting 716 overall, so still in the mixer, still in top 1K, so well done to Chama. And yeah, some big scores in there. Where's the FPL planner there? He's in sixth place, 101 points for him this week. So well done, Tian. And I think
Kieran King. Look at Kieran King.
Yes, Kieran King climbing
points
as well. Yeah, so we're gonna have a look at him now in our paid mini. Over to that one.
That's a name.
Also,
there's a name I've not seen on top of the free mini there. Kyle Brooks.
Yeah,
I've not seen that name.
Kyle Brooks come out of nowhere and kind of taking all the glory now in the final game weeks.
Incredible.
But over to the paid mini. Obviously, we know how strong this competition is. But Kieran King that you just mentioned, haven't got a clue. 160 points Kieran got this week, and he didn't even make the FPL Manager of the Week with that haul, which is crazy.
Oh my
Nathan
God.
Burgess, Champions of Europe, who's gone into the Champions League places in the top four. He hauled 174 points. He played his bench boost, only made one transfer, no hits, plays bench boost, and he got the captain's armband on Kevin De Bruyne at 60 points. He's got his Mason Mount in there, and Ketia and Kane up top. And obviously the clean sheets and the action from Laporte and Cancelo with their assists got a combined 28 points. So really strong from Nathan in there. Budgie, who came on the podcast at the start of the season, he's looking really good. So top work from him, and he's gone into that fourth position. But back to Kieran, 160 on him, 2,514. So first place, just a reminder, the top four in our paid mini. Over 2K of cash prizes, rewards go back to these guys. So in first place is 1,000 Aussie dollars. So Kieran right now is sitting top of the ladder, top of the tree. $1,000 could be his if he kind of retains that. Second place, Steve Wood, who's dropped from that first place. He's gone down to second, 118 points. Still a really good score from him this week. He's in for the runners-up prize. Third place, Donald. He's come back. He had a quiet couple of weeks, but he has come back big and back into that third place, 127. And obviously Nathan has mentioned 174. But I wanted to discuss this one. Jordy Wilson dropping down to fourth, 92 points. Disappointing game week from him. But Matty Day, 148 points, creeping into the top six. He's in the Europa positions, and he's breathing down everyone's neck now. 2,438. So Matt, you're less than 30 points off fourth place with those cash prizes. 148 this week, unbelievable stuff. You must be daring to dream, surely.
I'd love to finish in the top four. I'd love to get some, I've won a manager of the month. I'd love to sort of place in one of the top four places. It is going to be tough. I don't have any more chips left. I'm not sure, how everyone else's chips in sort of that top sort of five there's looking, or sort of Chris in seventh and the other people below me. I'm sure there's a few of them still with chips. So, it will be tough, but it would be nice if I could sort of sneak in there, at this kind of end of season. Here we go. We can have a look.
Here we go. So just pull these up on screen now. I think everyone has used everything. Only Donald has got his free hit.
which is fine. I don't think I can.
Kieran's still got a free hit.
Kieran's still got a free hit too. Wow. Okay.
Well, so Kieran's sitting top of the ladder on the paid mini.
So
he's still got his free hit.
Okay.
And Donald still's got his free hit. His number 2 chip. So yeah, it's going to be just all about this decision making, what teams you've got now, and your assets you've got existing.
Yeah, I think I can, looking at that, like 4th. Yeah, I can push for it. If I can't make it, like I'd love to sort of retain the top 6 position in what's been, a difficult league this year. And but yeah, it's going to be a big end. I think even Donal there in 3rd. With him having that free hit, there's still a possibility for him to try and get back that that top spot. I think. Yeah, there's still an opportunity there. He's 45 points off. So yeah, you just never know.
Yeah, you don't know what it's going to bring and what's going to hit. But Spike is still tuning in while he's on the coach in the minute. He is sitting in 9th place, 145 he got this week. So he's on 2388. He's off 4th place. He's 80 points off 4th place. He does have that free hit. So if he nails that, he's playing it this week. He's playing it in the next 2 hours. I'm sure he's still refining that. He's getting some last minute tips. But yeah, he's playing that free hit this week, so he could really make that push as well.
He can, yeah. I think having a, that's free hit for this week's obviously going to be a benefit. We'll find out if it was all worth, using it in this week, or if it should have been used in 36. So yeah, look, but yeah, I'm sure he'll play it well. He's he's a good FPL player. He's all Spike, and and he gets it right with a lot of his chips. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And over to our Bonus Bank FPL Addicts Mini. So obviously Bonus Bank has sponsored this year. And for the guys who made it into the paid mini at the start, there was 38 spaces. And these guys are the top. So whoever wins this gets a year's subscription for free, worth $450. So Donal, he's sitting 3rd place in the paid mini, and he's sitting top of this competition, which is the head-to-head. So he's 127 in there. He's got 81 points. He's sitting 5 points ahead at the top. Really good. I think our Elliot Craig's, he's got 72 points. So obviously he's out of the running now. Elliot's done really well in his head-to-head, which is a really exciting concept. So I do like the head-to-head. I think we need to have a look at another competition for that next year. Yeah,
it's good. And this week, if Donal loses, Mark wins, and it will obviously go to the last day. So if Donal does win this week, he's wrapped it up, and and then he will get his Bonus Bank subscription. So yeah, wow, it's gonna be tight.
Yeah, and as we said, with the Bonus Bank, they offer, they compare and offer bookies promotions, so you can see on there, and there's a good side hustle and some good cash to win. So having a free subscription on their software, good opportunity to to step up on there and win yourself a bit of cash. But what I'll do as well, I'm just going to bring up the women's mini. So this now, wait till you see these scores, Matt. So I'm going to start outside of the top 6. So everyone's got over 100 points. Everyone's in the 100 club outside the top 6 for the game week that just happened. So 120 in 6, 5th place 125, 4th place 133, 3rd place 117, 2nd place Leanne Monticelli 172 points, listener from Perth, absolutely crazy, and Karen Spencer 109. So the ladies in this league are absolutely killing it. But I wanted to obviously mention Leanne out there, Frio girl. She's in Perth. Got her on Twitter. I know she listens to the podcast each week as well. So big shout out, Leanne. Congratulations on a huge haul this week. 172 points. Made 2 transfers, 5 at the back. Look at the names at the back here she's got. And the 3 in midfield. She got the De Bruyne captain spot on. She had a Pookie party with Watkins up top. Played that bench boost with Nketiah and Gordon on the bench, as well as Foster. So great picks from her, and she's closing on this 1st place as well. She's doing awesome.
That's mad. Look at that defense as well. Reece James, Cancelo, Laporte. Obviously the De Bruyne captain was spot on, but yeah, this is phenomenal. This is a phenomenal score, and hats off to her. Hats off. She's got it spot on with that bench boost.
Yeah, and she does have a free hit to play in the final 2 weeks as well. So yeah, really interested to see what she does there. So congrats to you, Leanne, and obviously big shout out and thanks for your support and listening to the podcast. Over to our little mini league. So the podcast mini, obviously You're 136 points in the lead now, Matt, but we're going to start at the bottom. Statman Dave, obviously no sign of him for the last 20 weeks, but I know he's been playing. he did play his triple captain this week, and he did put it on Mo Salah, didn't he? So it did not go well. Did not go to plan for him. He came out with only 9 points in there, really disappointing. And only, his highest scorer in there was Cancelo. His team on paper is still solid, to be fair, and he's just not got lucky, has he?
Yeah, it's not been his week, I don't think. Yeah, obviously, if he could have found a way for De Bruyne, then he would have been a lot better off. But 59 points, just I think it's probably this sort of sums up the way his season's gone. I think this triple captain and this game week just not been his year.
No, not at all. And over to our Newcastle fan for the tune, 100 points, a -8 on there from Elliot Craig, but he has played his bench boost. He did make the 100 club, so I know he was buzzing with that. He got the 14 with Foster starting. The midfield, he did go for the Foden pick, but unfortunate not to get more out of that. Odegaard, so he's got a couple of differential kind of players, I guess, with the Odegaard, and he did go Maddison. He got dropped, as we know, in that first game. Janssen, he did leave the 15 on the bench, but his bench boost did count that. So nice pick from him there. I'm sure he's buzzing with that. So Elliot Craig sitting 750 overall, nicely below me, which is I'm obviously buzzing about. I'm sure he's kicking himself for that for me being above him, but I'll take it. So this week, myself, I hold 121 points. Obviously, one of my biggest hauls of the season. I think it pretty much is the biggest one I got this season. Double check that. I got 140 in game week 26 along with that triple captain, but 121. I'm obviously over the moon. I did take a -12. I think it was maybe 3 minutes before the deadline. I started messing around my transfers. I had Chris Reed in my ear, egging me on to take hits, of course. So
dear.
I was tossing and turning though, mate, because it was Mahrez, De Bruyne, and I was going in and out and then changing a couple of players around because I didn't want Richarlison. And that, obviously, lo and behold, that happened with the 7 points. So I went with Richarlison and Mahrez instead of De Bruyne, and obviously a cheaper asset. And obviously kicking myself big time. Captain wasn't right. But Mahrez only 13, he'll play 13 minutes across the 2 games, so really frustrating.
I can't believe it. Yeah. Looking at that team, you've had some good scores there, though. You've got Laporte, Cancelo, Schmeichel, is that on your bench? Foster and Nketiah, Richarlison, obviously Williams, you're unlucky there to lose the one. But Son, so you've had some good hauls. I just think if you'd got that City pick right, not Mahrez, found a way for De Bruyne, you would have had, 170 to 180 point game week, and it could have been, an even better story. I think that's probably the only place where you've gone wrong. You've picked the wrong Man City midfielder. I'm not going De Bruyne, because outside of that, you've actually had a good game week in some of those hauls, because you've got a lot of double-digit hauls in there. So that's probably the only bit where it's you've been unlucky there, but still some big hauls, and you've still produced a good score from this double game week.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So I'm pretty pleased with that, and I can go into this game week, next game week. Pretty excited to try a few different things in this last 2, because I've got a couple of chips left just because I haven't played them. But going elsewhere, Chris Reed, obviously he's not on the podcast now. He's been celebrating the FA Cup win last night. So our UK correspondent, that's why he's a no-show today, because I'm sure he's having a snooze in bed, holding the trophy while he's in there as well, dreaming of Tsimikas taking that penalty over again. But Reedy's Renegades, 115 points. I've now closed the gap to 70 points for Reedy, so I'm getting a little bit closer. He did play his bench boost, so still good score from him, but he did take a -20.
Wow.
So Reedy did the Hitman, 95 points. So as you know, if you listen to the podcast regularly, the Hitman, he does say he changes every week. He says, I've changed, I'm not taking hits anymore. And then lo and behold, a -20 has appeared on his team. So the Hitman has moved to 291 overall, 29k overall. So decent score, but I know you'll be disappointed not to have come out more after taking all them hits. Ollie Walker Peel, 89 points, no chips played this week. Good score considering. Just didn't manage to get De Bruyne in to add to that, but he did put his faith in Jesus. He left 15 on the bench with Janssen, which didn't count towards his score. He went for a Marte instead in there. But probably a bit disappointing from Ollie, I guess, because obviously he's against the bench boosters and the free hits. So difficult for him, but he does still sit 211k overall, 2,302 points. So Ollie's still right above it, and he's enjoying himself up there in second place in the podcast mini. But over to the guru, played his free hit this week. Kevin De Bruyne is a captain, and now finds himself at 26k overall. Matt, you are on an absolute mission, and you have found some great form, mate. 148 points with his free hit. Matt, just talk us. I know you mentioned a bit about your team already, but you can talk us through the rest of it, mate.
Yeah, look, obviously the free hit, I'd activated it for this game week, and it was really just with the mindset of I want a triple up on Man City. I looked at it and thought, they're knocked out of the Champions League. They're not in the FA Cup. They've, their mindset's now on winning this league and getting it done. And as soon as I sort of saw that, I thought I've got to get a triple up. So I went safe. I thought I'd go what I thought was quite a safe pick with Ederson because I felt like he wasn't going to get dropped. Cancelo, who was already in my side anyway. De Bruyne was the main reason I used my free hit this week. I was dead certain I wanted him as captain. So it's paid off. He's got 60 points, which is just phenomenal stuff. He's really pushed me up in the ranks. Some last minute changes I made in this team, probably 3 or 4 minutes before deadline. Is I went Alonso and Rudiger for a double up on the Chelsea defence, ahead of Fofana, who was going to be in there, and Van Dijk. Yeah. So Van Dijk got 8 points. So he would have beat Rudiger. But then Fofana, I think he come out with 0 points in this game week, or 1 point. So Alonso's beat him. So that's ended up being a good late move, because Chelsea obviously struggled in the first game against Wolves. They had to then play their best team against Leeds. So that worked out well. And then Matip, this was the one I was really worried about, was I didn't put Trent in and I didn't put Robertson in. I just looked at it and I just thought, there might be some rotation, and we saw Tsimikas played in the second game. Matip, I knew he hadn't been playing in the cup game to Liverpool, so I had a feeling he'd played both league games. And what happened was he obviously got dropped against Spurs. I got the Villa game out of him, and he got a goal, and he actually outscored Trent and Robbo, combined. So that's ended up working out really nicely. Already had Son. I was never going to sell Son. Already had Kulusevski. It was going to be either him or Saka, but I ended up just sticking with Kulusevski. Gordon I put in, didn't quite do enough, and then I've got obviously Richarlison, who I've had in for weeks. So really, I didn't make huge amount of changes to my normal team. It was really just to get Ederson, De Bruyne, Matip, and then the Alonso Rudiger sort of double up. But it's paid off, and I'm happy I did use the free hit on this game week to get those players in. Because albeit I made sort of 6 changes to my lineup, I think it's paid off by being able to get De Bruyne in, get Ederson in, get Matip in, and use those transfers. So yeah, it was a phenomenal week, and I'm happy with it, because I think this week it'll be a tricky one. I've got no chips. There's going to be a lot of free hits, so I think it's going to be a difficult game week for me, but I'm happy I got a little bit of leeway with this game week, so it does allow me to maybe sort of tumble down the ranks a little bit this game week if I need to, or maybe take a hit or two. So now it was good, and I flew up in a few of my mini leagues and some of my rival mini leagues. So really happy with that. But that De Bruyne haul is just the stuff of legends. It's just it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Definitely one of my, I think it was PSB. Messaged me the other day, one of our listeners, and and he's doing really well in one of our mini leagues as well, and he just said, is that one of your best captains ever? And I said, what, thinking about it, it probably is. It's phenomenal. I think that one, and I remember years ago I did Defoe. He got 5 goals against Wigan, and then I did Aguero, got 5 goals against Newcastle. But I think that one is up there as probably one of the best. Maybe the best. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah, and listen, hats off to you. You've done absolutely class in there. And like I said, mentioning about your mini league performance, and I do want to touch on this one. Obviously, me and you appeared on the BBC 606 podcast a short time ago, and we played a game on there. We know Ali Bruce Ball, the real Statman Dave, and Chris Sutton, obviously the ex-Blackburn striker and Chelsea flop. But like we went on there and we had a great time. But we did join their 606 Select League. Now in that league, at the time, Ali Bruce Ball was smashing it, who presents the show, and Statman Dave was doing really well. But what I'm going to bring up now on screen, how times change and the form that you've brought yourself into now. So in second place, the Delhi Tubbies, Matty Day, as you can see here, after his 148 haul, he's now gone 1 point above Ali Bruce Ball, who sits in second. And Statman Dave, he had a good week, to be fair, of 146, but he has dropped to 2432. So, and we've also got obviously quite a few big names on there as well. But Matt, second place in there, you're still 70 behind first place, but this is a good run that we're on. It's a good bit of bragging rights to be had.
Oh, this is unbelievable. I didn't realise until because I missed their podcast the other week, and then Reedy messaged me and said, "Oh, you've been called out on the 606 podcast," and I think they'd said Statman David sort of mentioned, he had the bench boost this week, so he had 15 players against my free hit of 11 players, so it's kind of game over and good night type of thing. And to be fair, I looked at it and thought, he's probably got a good chance of getting a good lead over me with a bench boost, but that De Bruyne captain's just put me above him, because I think he was a good sort of 10 or 20 points above me. I've gone above Alistair Bruce Ball, who was I think about 100 points above me when I joined this league. I've managed to just edge above Let's Talk FPL as well. Andy, I think was quite some way above me. So it's worked out really well this game week. I think first place is going to be a bit out of my reach, as has it's had an unbelievable season. But I'd be buzzing to beat Ali Bruce Ball and Statman Dave if I can. I don't think either of them have got their chips left now. I think they might have used them all.
So let me have a look for you now.
Yeah, we'll have to have a look. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Yeah. And I think when I come into this league, coming in about 6th or 7th, and I probably didn't quite think it was possible. And then this free hits really boosted me. So I really want to sort of cement that second place.
Yeah, it looks like Ali's still got his free hit in there. Statman Dave has got he's played both his free hits. Let's Talk Andy FPL with Andy. He's still got a free hit.
Okay.
So maybe I think still a few. Kelly Summers, she's got hers as well.
Andy and Ali, I think probably they'll be tough. With them having their free hit, I think Ali's probably going to have the edge over me, and maybe Let's Talk FPL as well. But Statman Dave, obviously, that's where the rivalry sort of coming from now. So he's used all his chips, so it's going to be interesting to see if I can can at least finish above him.
I think the little fella Ali Bruce Ball, I think he balled it the other week. 38 points in game week 35. He did not have a good game week, so I think there's a lot of pressure on him to actually step up and have a with his chips. So over to you, Ali Bruce Ball, to see what you can do. And Statman Dave, obviously the one on the BBC, is a lot of pressure's on him, and I don't think he's great under pressure. So we'll have to see what he can do and step up there. But Matt, it's looking great in there. And what we'll do now, we're just going to obviously preview into game week 37. Lots to get through, obviously the fixtures wise. We've got a couple of comments in there. Rubber Ducky's joined us. Big shout out to you. Unfortunate last night. He's a Chelsea fan, I believe, isn't he? I think Rubber Ducky.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
His team's in the mud. Both, his real team in the Premier League and probably his FPL team as well. But good to see you in here, mate, and thanks for joining us. Rory. I haven't heard from Rory for a while. The GOAT, the true FPL GOAT. Hope you're doing well, Rory. Thanks for joining. He's fancying Trossard this week. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's a good shout. Obviously, he's on form. Brighton are looking good. I think he's a good budget option in there. So why not? Yeah, I like to see some of these sort of differential picks on a free hit, especially, Rory, if he's got the faith in him, then give it a go.
Yeah, fantastic. And Ozspag just mentioned, obviously, Trossard's a good shout. We've got a great away form and it's Leeds. So obviously that deadline, we are an hour and a half away from the deadline. We're going to look at some of the fixtures now. Trossard, a good shout from him. We're going to look at the FDR. We're going to look at our teams. I'm playing free hit this week, so Matt's going to help me with my team. We've got the Guru section coming up as well. But Matt, let's pick a couple of teams out of this who's looking good, and what should our FPL managers be looking for. We've got double game weeks for 4 of the clubs. It's Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Everton, or is it 3?
Leicester.
And Leicester, sorry, and Leicester. So 4 clubs out of them. Who are you liking for the double game weeks?
I think Villa's going to be on sort of the top of everyone's list with 2 home games. They've picked up some form. They've I think they look good against Liverpool. They've got 3 goals at Burnley in the reverse fixture, and now they play them again in this. So I think everyone's going to be
a tasty one, hasn't it? Yeah.
And Burnley probably going to have to push for goals and attack Villa as well in that one. So I think Villa, a lot of people look at them. That's probably a double that they'd aim for. Everton as well. I know they're obviously sort of near the bottom of the table in 17th, but they're picking up some results. 2 home games. They're good. They're a lot better at Goodison Park, so I think them as well for the double. I think they're their best options. I don't mind Leicester either with Watford away. I think it's a good fixture, and then Chelsea coming off the back of this, FA Cup game. Champions League football's pretty much sewn up for them now, unless there's a big collapse, which I can't see anyway. But I think it's not a bad double as well. There's a couple of good single game weeks in there as well. Possibly Spurs versus Burnley, Brighton away to Leeds isn't a bad one. Wolves at home to Norwich, possibly too. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game week.
Yeah, nice. And lots to pick from. And I've got no doubt you're probably going to mention some of them in your guru section, which we'll jump over to now. And then after the guru section, we'll preview our teams. So Matt, you've got obviously a couple of differentials that you pick every week. What should our who should our fantasy managers be looking at this week for game week 37?
Yeah, it's tough this week because there's just so many options. And I think from the teams, we did mention there, it's not the, for the double game weeks, it's not the Man Cities, it's not the Liverpools, it's not the, the Spurs or the Arsenals. It's, a few very different differentials that we're going to have. We've got some of sort of the struggling sides on the doubles this week. But I do like Myalenko at 2.3%, who obviously scored that volley last week. Back-to-back home games at Goodison Park. So I'm really liking him. Eze, who's 0.9% for Palace. He's got his place back in the team. He's fit. Scored a couple of weeks ago at Southampton. He's looked really good for Palace in the last couple of games. And he's a big money saver as well. I think you can get him in as a different option for Palace in that midfield, and possibly use the money elsewhere. And then another player who caught my eye for Leicester. I know he's not always been in the lineup or at his best in the last months, but Harvey Barnes, 4% owned. Hopefully Leicester actually do play him in both of these games, but he got a couple of assists the other night and looked really on form in that Norwich game. And the pressure's probably off Leicester now as well. So I think he's a pretty good shout. But there's a lot of good players to pick from this week. But those 3, in terms of their ownership, it's all below 5%. So I think they're not bad options on either a free hit or if you just want to do kind of a one-off transfer.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, obviously with this Salah news as well, him being injured, there's going to be a lot of cash spare. So you'll be able to spread these funds across, and the differentials are generally like your enablers or the 4th and 5th kind of picks in your midfield, or your 4th or 5th defender. So having these kind of picks, pretty cheap, but the differentials, but you'll have that cash available, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I think, if 2 game weeks to go, I think you've got to take a couple of gambles.
Yeah.
On a free hit or on a transfer, you've got to change it up a bit. And I think it's worth trying something a bit different if you can now with 2 game weeks to go. It could be the difference between, winning a mini league and, not winning a mini league.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. And so your teams that you're going to back this week, fantasy managers, take this one. Look at assets within these teams that the guru's going to pick. But Matt, who are you looking at this week for assets and teams to back?
I'll go with from a single game week. I don't like backing. See Spurs with the early kickoff. Burnley probably going to play quite a deep defence, but I will back us. There's not been much rest from the Arsenal game, but I think I might put Spurs down there. I think from the single game week teams, with the likes of Son, with the likes of Kane, I think it's worth putting us in the 3 teams. And then from the doublers, I'm going to put Villa in there with the 2 home games and Everton with the 2 home games. I think we'll see a lot of free hit teams tripling up on both of those sides. So I think they're probably about right with the 3 teams.
Yeah, nice. I'm definitely looking at a few of them. And over to you, captains. Who should be getting the armband for FPL managers teams this game week?
Yeah, look, I've normally tried to narrow it down to 2 or 3, but I've put a few options in there this week. There's just too many to choose from. So I've gone from the single game week players. I've gone with Son, and I've gone with De Bruyne, just off the back of his unbelievable haul against Wolves. I think from the single game week options, they're still very good options. And then from the double game week options, I'm going to go with Coutinho, who's just signed permanently for Villa. Richarlison with the 2 home games, and likely I think he's still on penalties as well. And then Vardy, who got a couple of goals against Norwich. I think he's a pretty good shout for a captain from the double game week players, who's probably on penalties as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you feel like Coutinho might be a bit more settled. Like I say, he just signed, I think, about 30 million, probably 10% of what he actually left England for in the first place. So, yeah, unbelievable. The other Brazilian, Richarlison, bit hit and miss. Obviously, we mentioned Reedy before. He captained him last week. A lot of hype about him, but we'll have to see what this brings, but definitely an option. But how about your curveball captain?
Yeah, I'll put Zaha. I've used him as a curveball this season before, and he did deliver that week. I think it was against maybe Arsenal a few weeks back when he scored, or against him, got a penalty, or someone he scored against. So I'll back him again. He's obviously got the 2 away games. He's on pens, which I think really does help him. So I'll go Zaha as a decent curveball. I think the captain shout's open this week. There's no real kind of standout. There's so many options. And I think as a curveball, he's a pretty good one.
Yeah, brilliant. Some great picks in there. I've got a couple of comments while we're on the Guru section. Project FPL, is Richarlison worth a -4, Matt?
I think so. Yeah, I think it is. Obviously, I'm not sure who you're taking out for him. If it's a single game week player like a Brozier or a Chris Wood or a Dennis or a striker within that sort of range, then I think it's definitely worth it with the 2 games and the chance of pens, of him getting pens, and both games at Goodison as well. So yeah, I think it'd be worth it for sure.
Perfect, mate. And we've got a question from Dimitri: start in Nketiah or Reece James?
That's a tough one. Reece James was unbelievable against Leeds the other night. He was unbelievable. He was good last night in the cup final as well, I thought. Again, though, you always do like to back the forwards. I've always said try and back the forwards. But I would say I'd still want to back Reece James. He's more premium. He's at home. There could be goals in that one. And he could be involved.
The rest till Thursday as well.
Yeah, I'd say Reece James, but just because Nketiah's on fire. He's getting goals, but I think if it was my side, I would probably Reece James would just edge it for me.
Yeah, so hopefully, Dimitri, that helps guide you this week. Obviously, lots of tough choices to make. Is that as Matt said, you can it is worth a gamble this week. Your last 2 game weeks, lots of gambles to make and try and get up the mini leagues. Or if you're kind of out of the action, you might want to just have a bit of fun. But just got a question from Quentin from FPL Amateurs of Oz. Thanks for joining, Quentin. Q, good to see you, mate. He's gone James or Emerson Royal. Is that not an easy one for you? I thought you were slating Emerson last week.
I was, but he's had such a good couple of games. He's had such a good couple of games, and he's nailed in that team. I'd say Emerson, based on I think Leicester have more of a chance of scoring. I think you got more of a chance of a clean sheet from Emerson than James, which is the first thing you think of when you pick a defender. But again, Reece James is so good going forward. And he is that premium asset. It's so tough. I'll say Emerson, but it's close.
Clean sheet.
It's close, but I can barely pick that one. But probably maybe just Royale based on the I think I read a stat as well. Spurs have conceded 5 goals in their last 9 games, and no more than 1 goal per game in that time. So I'd probably just about say Emerson, but yeah, it's tough.
I'm going to take that answer off you, mate, and I'll jump over to PSB, who's jumped in the comments. James Maddison or Danny Ings?
Maddison for me. I've had a lot of good fortune with Danny Ings when I've owned him this season. I obviously owned him in not the double game week just gone, but the one in game week 28. And he got 2 goals and I think an assist over the 2 games, or a goal and a couple of assists, and he was very good. But having seen Ings' minutes after that, it does have it's the same with Maddison as well. There's a tendency for Ings to play a game, maybe miss the next one, and then miss the game after. And we do have this Villa game tonight. We've got Villa play then again. What was it, Wednesday night or Thursday night in England, and then on the Sunday. So it's will he play all 3 or will he play 2 out of 3? And I just think Maddison. I think Maddison. I think the thing about Maddison as well, if you're not on a free hit, you get the Watford game out of him, you get the Chelsea game, and then you've got him for the last game week at home to Southampton, which I think is better than the 3 fixtures Ings has got, because he's got Man City on the last day. So, if you look at more long term, I'd go, I'd probably say Maddison for me.
No, fair enough, mate. And another one from Q. Let's make this a quick one. Thoughts on Eriksen over Mount for the home run as your differential? Two questions in there. My apologies. 2 questions in there.
Yeah, look, I think we'll go with the Eriksen. I think he knows how much I like Eriksen, and I've never been a huge fan of Mount in FPL, but I'd still pick Mount over Eriksen for these 2 games, because with Watford on the last day of the season at home, they are the games Mount delivers. He delivers in these games against Norwich, Watford, Burnley. These teams kind of that are sort of already down or near the bottom of the table, and and he has got the numbers this year. So I'd still probably back Mount over Eriksen, and a Chelsea player. And then my differential pick, or for the run-in, I think I'll say Ryan Sessegnon for 4.3 mil.
Yeah, nice. Obviously, with Reguilon out for the rest of the season, isn't he? So, yeah, Sessegnon, nice little pick in there. So, hopefully that helps you, Q, gives you a few more options. So, what we'll do, just take a quick little break, and then we're back to review some teams. Okay, guys, obviously a big thank you to everyone who's watching and tuned in. This is the deadline stream, something a little bit different for once, and it offers us the opportunity to do it this season. So really exciting to be here on the Sunday, an hour and a bit before deadline. I get the guru to myself for this next section to help with my free hit guidance, which is even better. But wherever you're listening or watching, I hope you're enjoying the content. Please make sure you give a bit of love to the podcast. Give us a like. Make sure you give us a subscribe if you're new around here, so you never miss an upload. Only a couple of game weeks to go, a couple of more podcasts to go before the break. So let's make sure we get as much content, as much love in there as possible. And feel free to jump in the comments, and we'll try and get through to your comments as we go along. But Matt, it's free hit time. Check this bad boy out. I've gone a bit random. I'm having a bit of fun now, mate, as well, because I ain't going to win any mini leagues now, apart from the ones I'm already topping. I'm probably just middle of the road in the paid mini. Maybe a random manager of the week could be up for grabs. But this one, I've jumped on the doublers. I've jumped on some of the teams that we've already mentioned already. I've even picked Mikolenko's in there as well, who you've talked about. Mad's in there. Zaha is in there at the minute. And then I've gone for an English front 3. Vardy, Kane and Danny Ings. I've actually got the captain's armband on Danny Ings as well at the minute. But tell me what you think about this, mate.
It's a good team. I'd probably say could even go Richarlison over Kane.
Oh, I hate Richarlison though. I hate him.
I know.
Doesn't do. He's cursed me. He's like the Chris Wood cursing.
He is. I think if you're on a free hit, you get that extra game. Yeah. Kane's got a great record against Burnley, but I think Richarlison with these 2 games, I think would kind of round that front 3 up. Midfield's good. I like Coutinho. I like Zaha. I like Maddison. I think Son is just too good at the moment not to have.
Yeah.
You don't have De Bruyne in there, but I think you get away with it
I
because
feel like I can get away with it.
I think Son covers him in the 3. Doublers in there is good. I like Vardy as well up front. I like Ings at the back. Yeah, Cash I think is going to be popular this week. Myelenko, I like that pick. Yeah, Reece James. Yeah.
Is there someone better we should be looking at than Reece James, do you think?
I'm just thinking, to be honest, you never know who's going to. I was thinking of maybe a Leicester defender with a Watford game. But then they've not been keeping clean sheets. You don't know who's going to play. I just think because you've got Maddison and Vardy up against Chelsea anyway. I'm just trying to think who else could be quite good in there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I looked at the likes of. I was going to save some money elsewhere, maybe go for a Burnley asset cheaper, a random one to save a bit of cash, spend elsewhere, but I'm not too sure. But I think Quentin's got it right here. Absolutely brilliant. It's either going to be a free class or a free shit. Yeah,
I think,
mate.
Even if I'm not sure, I guess we don't know who he's going to play for Liverpool against Southampton, but I still don't think we can. Overlook that game, despite Liverpool probably making some changes. Southampton haven't been good lately. But yeah, I'd probably even be playing Michael Keane over Reece James in a free hit.
Right.
I just think
I was thinking James even might be dropped. Do you know what I mean? That's why I've got Keane in there as cover just in case in my defence. He got 2 home fixtures, picked up the 15 points in the last double game week that he had.
I think if you're going to go for it, you're on a free hit, you're going for it. Like you said before, it's just you're at the point now. Each one have fun with it. Put as many in as you can. I think go full double game week in that defence. Midfield all double game week other than Son, and then I'd be doing the same up front, Vardy, and I'm looking at someone like Richarlison and Ings. I think that's probably it, and I think that's probably the sort of the best. That's probably what I'll be doing. But it is a good side. It's a very good side. And I think that's pretty template as well. I think there's going to be a lot of very similar free hits with some of these players. Yeah. Maybe a few of them might throw Cancelo in, go De Bruyne, and try and play a little bit more safe. But I think if you're going, quite rogue like you are, then this is a very good free hit.
Yeah, nice. No, I appreciate the feedback. And if you're listening at home and you can't see what's on the screen, I've got Pickford in goal, Cash, Mikolenko, James at the back, in the midfield, Maddison, Son, Coutinho, Zaha, and a front 3 of Vardy, Kane, and Ings. And on the bench, I've just got Foster, Cornet, and there's a bit of his percentage must be pretty low still. 0.8% ownership, massive differential. Obviously, does score some screamers as well for Burnley, doesn't he? Michael Keane on the bench with a double, and then Tsimikas. He might even get a run out on there. For Liverpool, but listen, that's my kind of free hit. I've got the captain's armband and Danny Ings. Would you be avoiding that one, or do you think that's quite a good one? I was just thinking.
I think he's on form. If if you're confident he's going to get the second game, then it's a good captain shout. Do get a bit worried with his injury record sometimes. I do get worried about that, and I was burnt on the double game week last season. A couple of years ago when he was at Saints, was it last season? Was at Southampton? I think I was burnt from it. But it's a good shout. I'd probably be looking at Vardy or Zaha if it was my free hit team. But if you're confident in Ings, there's so many captain options in your team. There's so many captain options. I can understand Ings as a captain. I think it's good, but I'd probably be going maybe a Vardy or a Zaha.
All right, mate. Well, I appreciate that feedback. A couple of quick fire answers from me for this one. I'm Mido. Please, best captain. Go. Best captain for you, Guru.
Vardy,
perfect. And that might answer Nelvin Munyama. Thoughts on Vardy? Great pick from me, Guru.
Yeah, I like Vardy for this week.
Perfect. Son, Richarlison, captain for Angus Scott.
Richarlison.
Oh, and he's just jumped in again. Ings or Watkins? I'm going Ings.
Yeah, Ings because of fitness worries. For Watkins, Ings does have his fitness worries usually anyway, but I think because Watkins hasn't trained for a few days is what they're sort of saying, I'd probably back Ings over him.
Perfect. Dennis Monroy, Rodrigo over Gordon.
Was that Rodrigo, the Leeds Rodrigo, or was that the Rodri at Man City? Because I'm thinking if that's a midfielder, it could be Rodri. If it's Leeds, Rodrigo, I'd say no. I'd say pick Gordon. Even if it's the other Rodri, I'd say Gordon as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyone else? Oh, Mido in there. I wonder if this is the Egyptian one who played for City. Spurs, sorry.
For Spurs, yeah.
Best replacement for Salah? Son.
Yeah, Son, if you don't have him. If you've already got Son, then or Zaha.
Ooh, love that one. Oh, here we go. Million, Vardy or Kane?
Vardy.
Oof, there we go. I just feel like he's going to get a hattie, me. I think Kane's going to get a hattie against Burnley.
Yeah. Look, Kane's still got, to be fair, he's just come off the back of those 2 goals, and he has got a great record against Burnley, but we've seen this season, double game week players, it's just, they might not do well in the first game, and then second game they'll come out and pull out results. So I think we've seen this year to back these double game week players.
Yeah. Next one. Free hit feedback. Let's have a look. So he's gone Pickford, Mikolenko, Cash, Digne, Sterling, KDB, Son as captain, Maddie, Richarlison, Ings, Vardy. Great team. Love all that. Sterling and KDB in there.
Yeah, it's a good side. I think actually one of the Gazdens, James was saying to me earlier, Sterling had a really good record against West Ham. If you're confident he's going to start, you never know. We saw it in the last game. We can get a double-digit score in the same game that De Bruyne got a double-digit score. So, I think that's not a bad double up. And you've got a lot of double game week players in there as well. Cash, Maddison, Richarlison, Vardy, all very good picks.
Fair enough. Appreciate your feedback on that. So, Guru, team selection for you this week. You've got no chips to play, so what I'll do, I'll bring up your team. I'll bring up your team in front of us now, and then we can, just see what kind of the moves that you're thinking about. Obviously, you haven't got long before this deadline. So if I just go back a week, that should be your team, right? Yep. So this is your team.
Yeah, that's my side. Yeah, so it's not as good as what my free hit team looked like. But yeah, look, I've got Collins. He's got a double game week. Look, one of them is against Spurs, but I'll still play him. I've got Cornet. Again, one of them is the Spurs game, but I think he does worry me with his injuries. But if he gets both games, I think he might be able to, grab someone in that second game against Villa. I've already got Richarlison in there. I'm probably going to take a -4. Salah will come out. Even before the Salah injury, he was actually my transfer out this week. I think I was ready just to move him on. So I think I'll do Salah out. I'm looking at Maddison. I'm looking at Zaha. I'm looking at Coutinho. So it's going to be one of those. And then I think I'll use the rest of the money to take up possibly Chris Wood for maybe a Vardy or an Ings. And then it gives me a chance then with that Salah money to bring Kane in on the last game week as well. It does look like Kulusevski might miss the Spurs game today. He's fallen ill is what I've sort of heard. So that is a bit of a worry for me. But I'm still going to keep him. I'm not going to take him out. I think the fixture against Norwich is too important in game week 38. It sounds like he's going to be fine for that, but might just miss tonight's game. Mount, he was going to do Salah and Mount out, but I think Salah and one of the strikers is probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep Mount for the Leicester game. And that's it. I'll probably go 3-5-2 if Kulusevski plays, or a 3-4-3 if Kulusevski doesn't play. And it will be... I'll go a 4-4-2 if Kulusevski doesn't play. I'll probably just play Shah against Arsenal and hope that Newcastle can nick it 1-0 or get a 0-0 draw, and he does something because he's still on free kick. So yeah, I'm probably going to have 5 double game week players at most, which isn't much compared to a lot of these free hit teams. But I'm hoping the likes of Son, Mount, Cancelo, Sarr in goal can. And Trent Alexander-Arnold, if he plays against Southampton, can sort of come out and get me, cover me for some of these double game week players, because look, they're not double game week players, but they're top players, top assets. So but look, I anticipated with the free hit in 36 that I was going to be a bit light on for this week, but I wanted that De Bruyne captain, and he's given me that bit of a buffer now with my points. I can probably afford a bit of a red arrow this week, but I don't want to tumble too low. So I hope I get the captaincy right. Yeah,
but I mean, a lot of the pressure is on those who do have the free hit, who are in and around you. it's going to be difficult. Obviously, if they've all got hit as well, but obviously you've got more single game weekers who are solid players, your big names in there, as you mentioned. So you're hoping, obviously, they can deliver versus, the free hit teams like I've just picked. Some of the players are quite unreliable, inconsistent, and very inconsistent. So that's where maybe you can still stay in the mix anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
I tell you, who's just got a bit of a celebrity on ours now. Matt Cowling has made an appearance. Obviously, we've got a draft league, and Matt,
he's our champion.
He's our champion. He's already won the bloody thing. He's absolutely killed it. He's he's gone about his business very quietly, but he's asking Coutinho or Ings captain for this week, Matt.
I'll go Coutinho because he did so well in game week 28. In that double game week. I know in the last double game week he didn't play both games, but he's just signed permanently for Villa. And I think those midfielder points just edge it for me. I'd say Coutinho.
Yeah, nice work, mate. And did you mention captain for your team this week? Just going back to your team.
It's on Richarlison at the moment. But if I decide to bring in Vardy, then I might move it to Vardy. But yeah, once we've done this pod, I'm going to be checking my Spurs news on Kulusevski and, probably check a few of the forums and see what we're looking like in terms of team news. See if the Leicester fans definitely think Vardy's going to, play both, and then it could possibly be on Vardy if I bring him in. But at the moment, it's on Richarlison.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Well, obviously, we're wishing you all the best going into this game week. I'm just going to quickly go on a couple of our mini leagues just on the cups that we do have. So in the paid mini league cup, we've got Andrew Piparelli versus Martin Watchcorn in there, who's obviously a big listener. Chris Mooton versus Kieran King. So Kieran is going for the double. He's going for the paid mini league title and also the cup. So good luck to them. 4 teams going into this game week. So who's going to make the final. This is the inaugural cup as well, isn't it? We didn't have a cup last year, so excited to see where that goes and who comes out on top. And in our paid, our free mini, we've got a couple of guys in there, and also Hayley Wood, who's in there. So she's made the semi-final. She could make the final. She beats Mohammed. Prabin and FPL King are playing in the other semi-final. So good luck to them. The cup's been an exciting one. There's been I think a couple of game weeks in our big one, but it's a tough one to battle as well, isn't it?
It is, and good luck to everyone. I wouldn't mind seeing Martin Watchorn win the paid one. I think he deserves, I think, some glory this season. So I'd like to see him at least get to the final. Would be nice because he's been provided some some good content this year. Some good FPL sort of thoughts and information, and he's
really active as well. Yeah,
pod. So I wouldn't mind. I hope good luck to everyone. But I'd like to see Martin make the final. That'd be nice.
Yeah, we'll see. So that's just touched on the cup. Now, next week, game week 38 is, the final official kind of podcast of the season. Only one kind of more to go, and then we'll do a review pod. I'll be, so I think we're going to do this Tuesday. I'm hoping, Matt, we can do game week 38 on Tuesday next week, if possible, Tuesday night. So we'll to be discussed. But I'm off to the UK on Thursday. Me and FPL Addicts Reedy will be out in Manchester on Saturday. So we'll see how that goes. And Sunday, we might try and check in and do something on the Sunday because it is the last game of the season. But obviously, going to game week 37, we're going to wish everybody all the best and good luck, and hope some people are praying for big cash prizes in the mini leagues across the world. So good luck to your teams in there. And if you need any more advice, jump onto our social pages. The gurus at FPL_addicts, and we've got the podcast one as well, and we'll try and help wherever we can and provide some opinion. But Matt, obviously, good luck, mate. You're in a great position, top 26k. We're excited to see where you're going to end up, mate, and hopefully you can keep climbing the ladder in the paid mini, but then also get try and get your best ever season in the mini leagues as well. You feeling good?
Yeah, look, I'm a little bit nervous just with all these sort of free hits that are flying around and stuff. But if Son can get me off to a good start, and if I can get my captain right, then that's half the battle. So feeling good if I can just nail that captain. I'm looking forward to it, though. Looking forward to it.
Of course, mate. All fun and games. And let's go a score prediction for Spurs versus Burnley. First kickoff in an hour? No, it's what, 3 hours? Well, we've got 3 hours. An hour?
Yeah.
3 hours. Yeah. 3
It's
hours.
tough because Spurs this season we've had a great game, and then we play a team like this, and then we end up, 0-0 or 1-0 defeat. But I'm going to go with 2-0 Spurs, Son and Kane to score and both to assist each other's goals.
Wow. So that'll be good for the double up. I'll take that and run. And that is all we've got time for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Thanks for all new subscribers who've subscribed over the podcast. Don't forget us a like and a rating. And we hope to see you next time. May all your FPL dreams come true.